You're watching Kaitlyn Today's Holiday Special. For this holiday season, I will be taking you to the great American city of Boston, Massachusetts. Because there is just so much to see in this beautiful historical city, today will be one of those let's cram everything into one-day visits. Our first stop is Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Located right in the heart of Boston, it was built nearly 275 years ago. During the holiday season at Faneuil Hall, your attention will always be captured, whether it is by the shops at Quincy Market or even the street performances. I was even photobombed by a group of girls, which certainly put the cherry on top of this visit. And make sure you stop by one of the many stores to get a head start on your holiday shopping. And a major spotlight in this fantastic area is a holiday tree that thousands of Bostonians and tourists come to see every year. Just a short walk across Charles Street, you will find the quaint, historical community of Beacon Hill. Here, you will get a first-hand look at what is considered to be one of the most prominent neighborhoods in Boston. Surprisingly, this square-mile area was settled upon almost 400 years ago. As night falls, white lights twinkle along the streets. Even the golden glow from the beautiful homes and storefronts give a cozy feel to this neighborhood, making it fit for a snow globe. We finally made it to Newbury Street, a hot spot here in downtown Boston. And this is one of the best places to go shopping during the holiday season, so let's check it out. This is a fantastic place to continue shopping. Or if you're hungry at this point after all that walking, eat of course. Newbury Street is 8 wonderful blocks lined with unique shops, boutiques, and an array of cultural restaurants. Italian food, they have it. Thai food, they definitely have that. Whatever you're in the mood for, you'll certainly find it. And who knows, maybe one will be that next hidden gem. To walk off all that food, I believe that taking a stroll through Boston Common will bring a smile to your face. And if you're up to the challenge, I think you should rent a pair of skates here at Frog Pond. But just make sure you wait long enough so you won't cramp up. So twirl and fall the night away on the rink with your friends and loved ones. It's definitely an experience you won't forget. Our last stop is one of Boston's newer landmarks, Salem Bridge, also known as Bunker Hill Bridge. And just a mile over my shoulder is Bunker Hill Monument. Crossing the Charles River, it spans nearly 1,500 feet. This bridge adds a modern twist to a historical city, especially at nighttime. As the sky turns to dusk, colorful lights illuminate Salem Bridge. During the holidays, they are quite the spectacle as their reflection dances across the Charles River. It's definitely an exciting yet soothing way to end your day in the grand old American city of Boston during the holiday season. Stay tuned for an exciting interview with Keisha Grant. I'm here with co-anchor Keisha Grant from Connecticut NBC News. So, how are you doing today, Keisha?
I'm great. How are you, Kaitlyn?
Good, thank you.
Good.
So, I know there's been a lot of news going around, and it's all a buzz. I heard that you are mom-to-be.
I am. I'm expecting my first child in May.
Congratulations.
Very excited. Thank you.
So,
Very excited.
So have you been getting ready?
You know, I've been working a lot. So I haven't started getting ready just yet. I figure, and I think this happens especially with first-time children, you wait to get your nesting in the last couple of months. So I'm 5 months as of tomorrow, so I've got a few months. I better get on it though.
Yeah.
Better get it together.
Was it always your dream to become a news anchor?
It was since probably around the age of 14. I decided at 14. My father is Bayesian from Barbados, and he has a very heavy British West Indian accent, and he loves television news. And so we call someone like that a news junkie. That's what he is. But his accent, he never pursued it because he thought my accent's so heavy, it would never work. So at the age of 14, we're sitting down, and he instilled in me every day we would sit down and we'd watch the evening news, nightly news, watching the news, together as a family. And he looked at me one day and he said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, well, I want to be a teacher or a veterinarian. And he said, have you ever thought about this? And he pointed to the television, and there was a news anchor on. And I thought, I could do that. I'm inquisitive, downright nosy. I know how to ask a question. I like people. I know how to speak. And it was then, at that moment, that I decided, I think I should look some more into this. But at 14 is when I made the decision.
Mm-hmm. So, how major of a role did your parents play in you becoming a news anchor? I mean, I know you talked about your father, but how much did he push you, like, during your path to college?
You know, he brought it up, I can honestly say, he brought it up at the age of 14, and he never said, you know, you'll take these courses, you'll go to this school, you'll do this. He just planted the seed. And that's really all that he had to do. I'm a huge daddy's girl. I, at my age, still talk to my father every single day, sometimes a few times a day. My mother as well. So my parents still, even at my age, instill a lot of pride in me, but also they influence a lot of the decisions that I make. So all along the way, I've got 18 years in this industry, and all along the way, they have silently in the background been that constant support. But I think it's made all the difference in the world.
See, take advice from your parents, folks. Now, bringing it back to your days in California, how different was reporting over there than it is in Connecticut on the East Coast?
Probably like night and day. Prior to coming to Connecticut, and I've been in Connecticut, next month will be 11 years, I also worked in the Midwest. So I was raised on the West Coast, in the suburbs of Los Angeles, and I remember getting my first job. First I started out in cable, and then I went to my first broadcast job in Palm Springs, California, which, if you know anything about Palm Springs, it's the desert. So once I did 2 years there, I went on to my first job in the Midwest, which was in Columbus, Ohio, where they get snow. So I had to go from the heat of the desert to learning how to zip up a coat for the first time, like night and day. And so I think that spending some time in Columbus, Ohio in the Midwest prepared me for New England. 11 years later, here I sit, and it works, but there's some huge differences.
Right. So I understand that you were out in the field before, and now you're at the desk.
Absolutely.
Which one do you like more?
You know, I think that I like them both equally. I don't think you can do the latter without being able to effectively do the first. So what I'm saying is, if you want to be a news anchor, there is no such thing as being a news anchor without being a reporter first and foremost. I think as a news anchor, anyone can sit there and read the words scrolling on the prompter in front of them.
Right.
The times that you are called to task, and truly, is when there's breaking news and there is no prompter in front of you. We have had incidents where it happened right now. We get that call that there's breaking news. You grab a piece of paper, you grab a pen, you run out to the set, and for hours on end, you're ad-libbing.
Right.
You're working off of someone talking to you in your ear. You're working off of information and knowledge and perspective that you already have and know, and knowledge just of working in this market. But there are no words scrolling in front of you, and so those are the times that you have to employ your skills as a reporter. Finding out the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Those are the same skills that you use out in the field when you're interviewing people. Sometimes you may be doing it from behind the anchor desk, doing phone interviews, still trying to gather that information. But that's why I always say you cannot become an anchor effectively without first mastering your job out in the field, because you use those same skills, you just have to refine them and put them in a tighter package when you're sitting behind the anchor desk. And they call it an anchor for a reason. You're supposed to be holding it down. You're tossing to those reporters out in the field. They're live for 2 minutes, but essentially it's coming back to you.
So, can you share your experience over the past few years with your NBC 30 family? Oh,
it's been amazing. It has been, honestly, probably the best stretch of my career thus far. Like I said, in order to spend 11 years somewhere, it's got to be pretty special, especially in television news where you see people bounce around from year to year. You may see a face on the news today and not see them again tomorrow. So to spend 11 years here has been amazing. I was hired to anchor weekend evenings, and to be a main anchor now, you figure, okay, there's been some progression, but it's actually been great. I anchored weekend evenings for a year. Ratings were great. They promoted me to the morning show. Ratings were great again, even better. They promoted me, several years later to anchor nights, which in television news, the creme de la creme is anchoring the evening shows. That's what most people aspire to do if they're on the anchor desk, if they're behind the desk.
Now, you talked about and Face being on and off possibly the next day. So, you, a mother to be, do you think you will continue your job as a news anchor after you have your role?
Oh, without a doubt. People do this every single day. This is a part of life. But I think that having for so long television news has been and will continue to be my passion. We'll now have to find the mix of mixing in family and parenthood and being a mom. I'll have to find that delicate balance. But for so long, I've been so motivated, so focused, and so driven by this industry that I work in. I now need to find that delicate balance, which I'm not worried. I can definitely do it. But I think that's where the challenge will come in.
You like challenges?
I love challenges. I think that's what makes the world go round. If everything's easy and set before you, then you have no umph and no reason to get up and strive to be better, to do better, to help someone else. So you need those challenges.
So I know a lot of your fans know information about you from your Facebook page, but what can you tell us about yourself outside of the studio and outside of Facebook? What can they know about you?
Probably one of the biggest things that I'm most proud of, because I just got it over the summer, I am a citizen of Barbados. I hold a dual citizenship. So I'm a U.S. citizen, but I'm also equally a Bayesian, a citizen of Barbados. Very proud about that. Very proud. Those are my roots. I wear 2 silver bangles on my wrist, and it doesn't matter how dressed up I am. They remain. To me, they aren't jewelry. They're a part of my lifeline. I have a picture where I was 5 days old, and my father put these 2 silver bangles on me from Barbados, and I don't take them off. So I now have 6 of them. My father wears them. My aunts wear them. You see a lot of people from the Caribbean in silver bangles. But these aren't even jewelry to me. They're like my lifeline, and so that's why I can be at a gala in a gown, and you look down and there are some silver bangles on my wrist. It's because they're not jewelry to me. Also, vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for 30 years. I'm very proud of that as well. Those are the little things that you may not get to see and know about on the set, but when you're watching the news, if you see those silver bangles on my wrist, you'll know where that comes from.
Thank you so much, Keisha, for this interview.
You're so welcome. Likewise. Great questions.
Thank you. For all of those fans of A Christmas Carol, or even the Hartford Stage, you're sure to like this interview with WIN TV's own Campfield Heinrich, coming up next. So I'm here with WIN TV's own Campfield Heinrich. We're here at the Hartford Stage, and Campfield, you have to tell us, how did you get the role of Peter Cratchit?
I auditioned for another show at the Hartford Stage, and after the audition, they called me back and said that they wanted me to audition for A Christmas Carol.
So what was the show that you auditioned for the first time?
Macbeth.
Now, are you really excited that you chose A Christmas Carol over maybe going back for Macbeth, if they called you back?
Yeah, I like A Christmas Carol. It's a lot of fun.
So you've watched A Christmas Carol before, correct? So how's it different being on stage than watching it?
It feels really real and like you're in it, and it's really interesting and a lot of fun.
What's it like acting on stage with such talented crew and outstanding directors?
It's a lot of fun because the actors and the crew and the directors and everybody, they've been doing this for a long time, so they're all professionals and they're really nice people.
How intense are your rehearsals for the show?
The rehearsals are pretty intense. We have them almost every day, and they can be like 4 or 5 hours long.
Wow. So afterwards, what time are you usually getting home?
About 7 o'clock.
That's good. So you have time for homework.
Yeah.
What's your favorite line in A Christmas Carol?
My favorite line would have to be in the final scene where Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim see Mr. Scrooge, and Tiny Tim tells his father to run, father, run.
So that's also your favorite scene as well?
Yeah.
Aside from acting, what are your other interests?
I like to make movies with my friends, and I like to research movies and stuff. I'm a big film buff.
Now, what kind of movies do you like to make?
Pretty much anything.
Anything. So like you like horror, live action. Tell me about your acting career and how it all began.
Well, a few years ago, I had seen some plays and everything, and I always wanted to be on stage. So I was in a children's theater production, and after then, I just started doing a bunch of different plays and stuff.
Now, what kind of auditions did you go for?
I auditioned for family stuff. I auditioned for Macbeth, A Christmas Carol, and then I auditioned for a horror movie. which will be coming out next year, and I got a role as a refugee.
So how was that experience being on a movie set?
That was fun, yeah.
Do you think you're more likely to pursue a career on stage, behind the camera, or in front of the camera?
Well, I like all three, so maybe a little bit of each.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you were to be behind the camera, what would you like to do?
I'd like to direct movies or produce them, or maybe a cameraman. Yeah.
So maybe you'll have a collaboration with Max in the future? How are you able to fuel your passion for movie production and television production?
Well, I do a lot at WinTV. I'm part of the middle school production club, and like I said, I like to make movies with my friends and stuff like that. So.
What are some tips that you'd like to give to other young aspiring actors?
Just audition for any audition that you hear about, and just practice acting, and maybe take some acting classes, because it'll really help.
Well, thank you very much, Campfield, for joining us on Kaitlyn Today.
Thank you.
Hope to see you in the future on stage.
Want to make a sweet treat for the holidays? Join me as Chef Renee and I bake up a storm in the Kaitlyn Today kitchen.
I'm here with Chef Renee from Simply Fresh Foods on WinTV.
So what are you going to help us make today?
Ooh, today we're going to make German pancakes, which is typically a breakfast dish, but you can actually make it savory, or you can make it sweet, or you can serve it as a dessert, which is what we're going to do today.
Yummy.
What is the first step?
Well, unlike the typical pancakes where we usually have like a baking soda, baking powder, or everything to make it rise, German pancakes are cooked in the oven, not on the stove. And while it will rise in the oven, which is the beautiful and unique thing about them, it'll also fall back down. So we're not going to use that. So we're going to start with these ingredients. We're going to mix our flour, eggs, sugar, salt, vanilla, butter, and then we're going to do a special topping of lemon juice, confectioner's sugar, and some strawberries and blueberries. How does that sound?
Sounds delicious.
Super, super. So first thing, it's important that your pan be very, very hot. And if you're using individual serving pans, they have to be really hot. So we recommend either a cast iron or something else like a pie plate. And you put it in the oven at a high temp for 10 minutes, maybe about 410, 425. You put it in there so it's super hot. So that's the first thing we're gonna do.
Okay.
And we're gonna use the cast iron skillet. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is we are going to start mixing up the ingredients. So you want to start with that?
Okay.
All right, we're going to put some flour in our mixing bowl.
Okay. Let's dump that right in there.
Perfect. And just so we move out or take away any lumps, why don't you whisk that a little bit for us?
Am I doing this right?
That is perfect. That is perfect. All righty.
Okay.
Now, and just there you go. Right, look at there. Now. All right, then we're gonna also add our eggs, but what we're gonna do first is we're gonna whisk the eggs together.
Okay.
And there are 3 eggs. And while you're whisking, I'm gonna add salt, sugar, vanilla, and then we'll do the butter last.
So does the salt, sugar, and vanilla go into the flour or in with the eggs?
We're gonna put them in with the eggs and then we'll put them in.
Okay.
We're also going to add our milk, and it's important that the milk be warm.
Right.
Because you don't wanna put cold milk in room temperature or warmer things. So we're gonna do that first.
Okay.
So you have it.
Have the whisk.
And you know, with a whisk, even though a lot of people get a whisk and they stir, you don't have to stir with a whisk. You can go back and forth. You can go up and down because it's actually already mixing it up. That's beautiful. Now I'm gonna add, this is about a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of sugar.
Oh, this is getting heavy.
Mm-hmm. And now our aromatic, as well as taste, vanilla. All right. Looks like you're ready for a bigger bowl.
Okay.
So we can put it right in there. while you whisk, and I'll just pour it in.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
I like to pour right in the center, and that way you can add the flour in. You ready?
Yep.
There you go. And you can go around scraping the sides. Did we say German pancake making was fun as well? And while you're doing that, I'm going to add in our butter.
I have muscles for this.
You want to take a little break while I whisk?
Sure. Okay. Here you go.
Look at you.
Getting messy.
When does the milk part come in?
Oh, we are ready for the milk right now. And the milk is actually, it needs to be warm, so we can take it out of the microwave.
Okay.
This is beautiful batter.
And then just pour it right in?
That would be great. Now, that may seem like a lot of milk. It's a cup of milk, and what we're gonna do is, the batter actually should be a liquidy batter.
Okay.
Now, what I'm doing here is I'm making sure I'm getting all of the batter as well as the flour around the sides, on the bottom. We wanna get that very well incorporated.
Right.
And look at that, you don't have the lumps because you whisk the flour first. And what do you think? Stir that. I bet it's not that hard anymore.
No, a lot easier.
What do you think? So you want to check your whisk and make sure all the batter's off of your whisk.
Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. And are we done with this?
Yes,
All
we
right.
are. Now, the reason we have the pan in the oven, which needed to get really, really, really hot. And the reason we use like a cast iron or something similar is because of even heating. And with a German pancake, you actually want even heating. So I'm gonna take our hot pan out, and then we're gonna add, I'm using butter flavor shortening. So that way we get a little bit of flavor, and the shortening actually will start cooking the batter as soon as we pour it in. Okay. Gotta remember to be really careful.
Okay. So how much of the shortening do we use?
Let's just cut a little bit, maybe about half of that.
Okay.
That is good.
Awesome.
We'll check it out. Go ahead and scrape that knife. Be careful, because remember, it's really hot. And there we go. And then we're going to take a brush, and we're going to actually brush
Got a brush.
all around. And you want to make sure you're getting the sides and everything so that it doesn't stick. And you see how that melts so quickly? That's because the pan was really, really hot. And you do this step rather quickly as well.
So is it possible for it to burn easily?
It is possible, because depending on your oven and your oven temp, because if you have a smaller oven, the top of it could be low because this really rises. But if you have a larger oven, then, but just because it's a little darker on the top doesn't mean it's not delicious. It's still crispy and delicious. Now we're gonna pour that in slowly. You want to take a last whisk of that?
One last whisk, coming right up.
And I think you made one earlier, so we'll check and see how that's doing.
Okay.
Then we're just going to slowly pour that in, and we're going to pop this in the oven.
All right.
There we are. All right, so I'm gonna pop this in our 450 oven for 15 minutes, and then we'll actually, after 15 minutes, lower the temperature to 350, and that will then cause it to rise and finish cooking.
Awesome.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. like a big bowl. And
Yes.
this is fantastic.
I tell you, I love eating them, and my family loves them. Now, we're gonna go ahead and move the cutting board. Oh, actually, we can move it. And what we're gonna do, and remember that is really, really hot, and you wanna do this while it's hot. You're gonna take a lemon,
Okay.
a half a lemon, or you can use the entire lemon. And we're just gonna squeeze lemon juice all over it. So why don't you do that? I usually catch the seeds.
Okay.
And I'm gonna actually get our cutting board back.
Okay. So go ahead, all over the place.
All over. Wonderful.
And I want it on the sides
Perfect.
too.
Yep, but we have more lemon, so
Okay.
feel free. Excellent.
Oh my gosh, it's
You hear
sizzling.
that? Yeah. Excellent.
Wow. All right, let's put that right here.
Here, and I think you need that one. And then we're gonna take our knife and we're just gonna go around the bowl, around the pie plate
Okay.
to make sure it's all, oh, you see that? It's all nice and loose
Wow.
already. Now, we can actually serve it in here and slice it, or we can actually take slices out. I like to put that lemon juice, and then I like to go ahead and put the confectioner sugar on it for that nice sweet taste, especially since we're going to use it for dessert. Now, some of the confectioner sugar is going to melt, but that's okay. It's all about flavor. So we're going to put a little confectioner, in there. There we go. And would you like to hit it all the way around? And be generous with it. Because remember, this is a dessert. Isn't that beautiful? And while you're doing that,
Fantastic for those sugar lovers, right?
oh, look at that, beautiful. Okay, that's good. And we're gonna take a strawberry. You can sit that one right there. And what we'll do right now is we'll go ahead and we'll fan a strawberry.
Oh my goodness.
There you have it. You may have the honors and put it in the center and be careful. Remember, it's really hot.
Ta-da!
And there we have our German pancake.
Thank you for watching Kaitlyn Today's Holiday Special. Tune in next time.